and welcome to my August reset. If you're new here, I'm new too. This is my first time ever filming one of these and I'm so excited to have you come along on this journey with me. My name is Ariel and I'm a Christian stay-at-home mum. I focus on personal finance and wealth building content here on YouTube with tips and tricks to get your cost savings lower, how to budget from a biblical point of view, and I'm here taking you along on the ride with me. Now it's a little bit controversial, I think, just generally sharing your personal finances online, and there's a bit of a grey line I feel as a Christian for sharing everything so plainly. Like, I will go through all of our income, our expenses, all that sort of thing, but for me this is really important to have this financial transparency, because I think for a lot of us families where the mother is staying at home with the kids, you've likely got a lower than average income and it's really hard to make ends meet sometime. I want to show you how we do this as a family of 4. As I make this video, our income in terms of our main jobs only is around $70,000 pre-tax. We do have other income streams through marketplace sale. Both my husband and I have side businesses. The income for both of those is not consistent, so we don't really count that in our main take-home household income because it doesn't, it fluctuates. And if you're a small business owner, you will know that most of your income in that first year gets eaten up purely by expenses. However, all of that is a journey and we are just prayerfully chipping away at our other income streams so that eventually we'll have a little bit more than, the below average 70k. And for a little bit of context, my salary before resigning and becoming a stay-at-home mum is actually more than what our combined annual income is now. So there's been a huge adjustment prior to doing our monthly reviews and having a bit of extra, having double the income that we're on. We weren't particularly disciplined with, tracking everything. There was a lot of lifestyle creep. But before that, when I was single, I was so good at being on track with money, and we have gone through a full 180 of I was doing that to not doing that when we were both earning, and now we are kind of forced into doing it because we need to stretch everything a little bit more. We're making it work and I'm so excited to take you on this journey with me. In these monthly reviews, I'm also going to be going over some of my personal goals and how they're tracking. I'm also going to be sharing a little bit about my social media growth. This is my big focus for my side income, is sharing about personal finance online and essentially building up a passive income stream through AdSense. I'm not quite monetized yet, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'd love for you to let me know what you think of my first review in the comments below. Alright, let's jump into the numbers. Here we are in the month of July. We are using the CoPlenty Advanced Budget template, and here is an overview of everything that's going on. So our income, we actually had a little bit more than what we anticipated, which is awesome. Our bills were a little bit higher and I will get into that later, and we've actually gone a little bit over with our expenses. That's something that we've been doing, which we haven't been doing in the last 6 months, is repaying my student loan. Now, for a bit of financial clarity, the way that our income is set up, which I'll go to now over here. So my husband is paid weekly. Every week he gets paid, and this is his take-home pay after tax. Now I also have been earning as well, so for me I have a very casual 8-hour a week job. There was a weekend in July where I did a full weekend of work, so this is a very unusual thing. This happens maybe twice a year, but that really boosted our income for this month. My husband and I both have businesses. My husband is in the trade and he subcontracts out occasionally. Now working 6-day weeks is very challenging, particularly for me because I'm with the kids for 6 days a week. We go to church on Sundays, so it's pretty full on, but we're really blessed to have quite an injection here. And then we did receive a refund for, I think it was a phone bill or something. Our income for the month was $7,785.38. Now what I do every day is I will go into the transactions below and I will go to the date that it is, so July the 1st, how much money we went out and what the transaction was. As I input these transactions, these are all the different categories they can fall under, and then automatically these are going to add up into our, so for example rent here, we've got all of our expenses, we've got our bills, and then our investments, so it will automatically update in these tables. So we'll start off with our bills breakdown. So our rent is very consistent. We pay $500 a week. We always know we'll be spending $2,000 on this, and on a 5-week month obviously that's 2.5k. We have a set internet for $55. The typical internet in New Zealand is around $80. We opted to go for skinny internet, so this is always a little bit cheaper. Now our phone bill went a little bit haywire this month. I actually upgraded from a dumb phone to a smartphone this month. So I've gone from an $8 plan to a $17 plan. And as I was changing it to the $17 plan, I basically screwed up in the back end of our provider and I ordered it twice. Same thing happened for Ben, and his one actually was refunded into his account, which means next month we'll only need to top him up by I think 50 cents. Gas Pro, we have gas to heat our water. This was a bottle repayment. My husband's family with their siblings, they sponsor a child once a month, so $10 doesn't sponsor a child, but I think it's $40 or $50 does, so we do that every month on the 1st. We do have Spotify, that's our only subscription. We don't have Hulu or Amazon or Disney. We do watch Netflix, but my dad pays for this, so we're kind of winning there. Yeah, they live pretty close to us, so it's easy to kind of keep that. I don't know if it's like allowed nowadays, but anyway, we do it. Whatever. Anyway, now my husband does go to the gym. We pay quite a lot of money for the gym, but it's the closest one to us. We live kind of at the end of our suburb, so it doesn't make sense to drive an extra 40 minutes to go to a $6 gym. It's amazing. It's got a sauna. It's just something that we've committed to. Now let's jump to investments. So this month has been a pretty good month, I would say. For both of our children, we invested $20 a week, which should bring it to $80. So one week we were a little bit tight on funds and we decided to delay it. So that's been pushed to the month of August. First week of August we will double that. Back in the day we were investing in the S&P and then we stopped because we stopped. So now we're back at that. We're only doing $5 a week and we will skip this if we can't manage it, but it's just a little bit of something. We do plan on diversifying more into things like REITs and some offshore Asian markets, but for now we've just got our US S&P 500. We've put $20 into our crypto account. CFD tradings, they're pretty self-sustainable. We're just kind of ignoring this for a little bit. And then Liberty Trust. So Liberty Trust, if you want to look into it, there's a link below, but basically every week we'll contribute $50 to that, and in a couple of years we will have access to an interest-free loan. The amount that we're able to get depends on our weekly contributions and how long we've been contributing for. However, we can only manage $50. I'd love to be putting in $200, but hey, we're not quite there yet. Okay, moving on to our expenses. Now these are our variable expenses, and this one, yeah, these are the ones that we're really trying to chip away at. So our tithe for the month, we can't really budget for this. We just put in 10% of our gross pay, and that came to $812.51, which is actually quite amazing, I think. If you've watched my last video, you'll see that we were a little bit on a journey with tithes. We're now in a church that we really love, and this is something that's really important to us. We believe that God has called us to tithe in the Bible, so we are being practical and obedient to that. Sometimes it means that we are a little bit short on other things, but in those weeks where we are shorter, God has always provided, which has been such a blessing to our family. And not only that, but it's also grown our faith, which is kind of a win-win situation. Moving on to groceries, our budget was $600. We did overspend, so going into August we will decrease that to try and balance it out. There were a few bulk purchases in this. I did spend $65 literally only on honey, and the reason for this was that means it's $13 a kilo rather than previously we were paying $60 per kilo of honey. We'd buy these like 250ml jars for $10 or $15, so it just didn't make sense. And I actually found a local beekeeper who just sells these 5 kilo tubs. So if you're a big honey consuming family, I highly encourage you just to look into that, and the cost savings are insane. Moving on to petrol, this is quite a lot for us. My husband has been using our car for work. He doesn't usually use the car, so that's why this is higher. A little bit of shopping, a little bit of gifts. The gifts this is just for the courier. Half of the gift was actually like this brand new set of books from the op shop, and then I ordered some like lovely little crayons, so that was paid for a previous month. Cafe Bakery is pretty good. medical, this was physio, it just is what it is. Now our power bill is a little bit higher than usual, and this isn't our monthly bill. So the way our power bill works is that every week we can buy like power packs, and that contributes to our power. So we're actually almost fully paid up for the entire month of August. So a lot of that money rolls over. It's kind of hard to explain. I think it's the only company in New Zealand. It's called Power Shop. I'll put a link to it below. But yeah, you can buy power in advance. We've got prepaid power up until February. And yeah, so every week we'll buy like a little power pack, and that will contribute to it. Our water bill is not monthly, so but we do need to set up a sinking fund for this. And we have actually got our water bill for the last 2 months, which we received in August. It is particularly high, so we will absolutely be setting a water bill sinking fund for this. Children's activities, this was some nappies. We do cloth nappies, but overnight they have disposables. Now the splurge category, I really love talking about this, and out of all the personal finance books I've read, one of the first ones I read was The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape. Now he talks about having a splurge bucket, and basically what this is it's a bucket that your income comes in, and it splits off into buckets. One of the buckets is splurge, and basically any money that you've allocated into that fund, you can do whatever you want with it. You can save it, you can spend it, you can invest it, do whatever you like. So every week Ben and I get $10 each. It's not a lot, but it adds up. And this can be if we want to buy a coffee, if we want to save it up for clothes. What I do with it is I save $5 a week, and then I invest the $5 into 5 different funds. So I literally just put $1 into these different ETFs just to diversify, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I might buy a batch in like 30 years, I'm not sure, but it's really fun watching that go up and change. So if you're feeling like you've got a similar tight budget to us, doing a splurge fund for you and your spouse can be a really cool way to feel like you've got a little bit of wriggle room to do what you want, and you're not just like refined down to it. And it also gives you really good discipline for making really intentional decisions with your spending money. Cars, books, stationery, nothing. Our milk fund. So with our milk fund, we go to a raw farm once a week, and we will typically spend $20 on this. We did spend a little bit more this month. I have been making yogurts, and I will be making a few cheeses next month. So this is a little bit higher. Our goal for this is just $100, but I think we might revisit this if we are processing more dairy. This one is really embarrassing. Our fines, budget for that was $0. Yeah, I got a speeding ticket months and months and months ago, but because we moved house, this was sent to our old address, so I had to pay that pretty quick slick rip. Beauty in the chemist, $104. Supplements for the boys, they've been really sick. We buy Harper Herbals. If you're a parent, I highly recommend these. We bought 2 for this. Dairies and treats. Oh, this is pretty high. I'm just gonna move on. Now our other expense, let me see. I can't remember what this was. I think I may have just been leveling out. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we did spend some money on some work related things. So anything that I buy for our household and I use it in my videos, that counts as my cost of goods sold. So that's other. I do actually have a work template for this. I'd actually paid for that out of our personal account, and the reason for this is that I'm not making enough income from this social media account to just be using that to sustain itself. And then the other thing that made up this $1,000 is if you've watched my 6 months video, there were a few other accounts where we've been pulling from savings. I wanted to just balance this out, and that basically means that our left to spend here at the top, this is actively now reflecting what was in our checking account. So that was just a bit of a tidy up. I don't expect that we will have much going into that expenses next week. Moving on to our savings, we try and have a buffer in our account for $200, and the reason we have this is if we have an unexpected bill or something that we've forgotten about, like a gas bill or a power bill, or we get a random water bill. Because we've moved in, water is like, we're still figuring a few things out. So we actually drew down basically all of it. We're gonna need to rebuild this next month. Yeah, that's like a good signifier to us. Okay, so we were $190 where we needed money, and we'll plan for that next month. We put just over $400 into our emergency savings. We won't be putting anything into our home deposit because Liberty Trust contributes to this. Once we've got our emergency savings where we want it to be, we will be putting money into this. Sinking funds, we buy our insurance annually, so that's $140 to that. We haven't put anything for car expenses, birthdays, Christmas, or anything else, but we will need to do that coming up soon. So our bulk meat we buy from Green Meadows Beef. I highly recommend if you're in New Zealand. They're a grass-fed and finished farm based in Taranaki. The meat is incredible. I think this is our third box that we've bought from them. I rate them. It's just amazing. If you're in New Zealand, I'll link them below. It's not an affiliate link or whatever. I just really love this product. Eco store, we have not put anything in, and then next month we will set up our water bill sinking funds as well. Going down to debt, we only have our student loan. This is a 0% interest, but I earn less than the threshold to automatically deduct, so I manually have to do this. I wanted to pay $400 off, we got $200, and hey, that $200 is better than nothing. So going down, where does most of our money go? So we've got rent. Our rent was 25% of our income. This isn't too bad, but we did have that kind of spike from my husband's subcontracting. We don't usually have that much money come in. It was just a very particular kind of work he was doing. Our other, that was like business expenses, so this one's a bit nullified. Then groceries, we've got 10.8%, our tithe 10.4%, petrol 5.9%, so on and so forth. I'm pretty happy with how this looks, to be honest. I do want to bring our groceries down, and I have a few plans to make that happen. Let's just see how we go, and I really want to bring this emergency savings up as much as possible. Alright, so that's basically our overview that we had here. Our income, our bills, our subscriptions. This is actually our investment. Now originally in the Co-Plenty budget planner, it's for this category here is for bills. This category here is for subscriptions, and one of the recommendations they have, which I love implementing, is moving your subscriptions into your bills section. Obviously there's quite a lot of space. We've still got 4 more sections here, and then specifically we put our investments in here. We've got a few more investments that we need to be filling out, which, yeah, great that we've got a few more slots for that. So far so good. Let's move on to August. So I've actually already started inputting into this. Today is the 7th. I have put in all of our expected dates, our expected income. I am lowballing these, and the reason I'm lowballing these is because my husband bought some Makita tools through his work account and he needs to pay them off, and that will come directly out of his pay. We've actually opted to contribute more than what is required just so we can get rid of that debt ASAP. Thankfully it's interest free, but we just like don't want it hanging over our heads. Our budgets for bills, so $2,000 again for rent, our internet. I actually think that some of this will be lower, but let's see how we go. Our gas pro, we did have a gas bottle that was finished, and we have a $12 monthly fee that we have to pay. We've paid for our World Vision, we've got Spotify, and then Ben's gym. We've actually already paid for some of this already. Now moving on to investments, we want to invest $80 each per child. We want to put 20 into our S&P crypto. We want to do $50. CFD trading, we won't do anything for that this month. And then Liberty Trust, again, that's just our usual $20. With our investments, we both also have KiwiSaver. That's automatically deducted from our wages. Now for our tithe, I've just done a rough estimate of $600. Hopefully we will exceed this, which would be great. Groceries, I've actually pulled this down to $500, and as of the 7th of August, spoiler alert, we have spent nothing on groceries, which is such an achievement, and my focus for the next month is just to really hit the grocery bill. We don't plan on doing any takeaways or alcohol purchases. Petrol, I'm gonna say $300, that I don't know how realistic this is. We're having a bakery and cafe no spend month. Health and medical, we have been quite unwell, and my husband does go to physio, so I've allocated about $100 to that. Power, I think, will be a lot lower. I'm going to estimate that we're going to spend $100. Water, I know we have a water bill, but I'm going to leave this and set up a sinking fund in a minute. I don't think we're going to spend any money on any of these categories. We're pretty well stocked up, and there's a lot of free activities for the children in our area, so I'm going to make the most of those. Splurge, always the same. Car expenses, my car registration is due, so we need to put some money aside from that. Milk, $100, and honestly I just don't, I've got 2 of those categories. I just don't think that we're going to be spending too much. Obviously we have a little bit, but hey, we'll just try and have a no spend kind of themed month. Moving over to our savings, I'm going to go over to our annual totals, and I'm going to actually add under our savings a sinking fund for our water. Cool, so that's been added. I'm going to go back to August and there it is right there. So I think that the best, it's really hard to estimate because we haven't had a water bill, it's a different house. I'm just going to say $200. Let's see how we can go with that. Yeah, and then car expenses, we will need to start putting, what's 144 divided by 12? That's 12. So $12 we'll put into our car expenses. This is an annual fee for our registration. So with our sinking funds, we'll just take the total divided by 12. And that's what we have to pay in every month. Car insurance, I'll just see how this adds up at the end. This is an automatic payment anyway. And yeah, our other goals is 200 here, 200 here, and then my student loan. I'm just trying to be realistic and budget 100. We do have a lot of like bills that I know are coming up, but I don't know what they're gonna be. So we're just gonna keep that as our bare minimum this month. So that is our total that we're looking to spend for the month of August. Be sure to check in at the end of the month and see how we actually go. Moving on to my goals and habit tracker. This is another template from CoPlenty. It's got our yearly tracker so I can kind of get like an idea of my goals for this year. Now I do just want to note on this that I have started this month, so it will be a little skewed. None of these months will be filled out. I did start and play around with it last month, but I haven't been intentional with it. This is my month of really cracking down with my goals. There's a lot going on here. I'm just going to jump over to August and set some goals. I've actually already inputted these. As I said, it's the 7th. Turns out I was lying. It's the 9th today. Better late than never though is my kind of philosophy on this. So I just want to start really simple. I just want to read the Bible every day, make the bed. I know everyone should do this. I really struggle with this if I'm really honest. I want to journal. I want to pray, like really intentionally pray. My daily bank account reconciliation. So I want to be tracking every single day where the money is going, and then I just want to read 5 pages. It could be a non-fiction book, it could be my Anne of Green Gables series. Let's just see how that goes. But what I really love about this is that all your goals track, so you can see like how you're actually doing. I think that's so fun. Anyway, this month will be a little bit inaccurate because I can't really remember what I actually did. So that's why, yeah, I need to be doing this every single day if I want to achieve these goals consistently. I love having something like this where you can just, you've got like a full spreadsheet. I love a good spreadsheet and have it all tracked and automated with percentages. It's just great fun. Scrolling down, I've got some weekly goals that I want to hit. So we're kind of past week 1. This week I want to finish Anne of Green Gables. I'm up to like the 5th one and I just love it. If you haven't read Anne of Green Gables or you've only read the first one, there's a full-on whole series and yeah, they're great. They're very magical. I want to upload 2 videos this week to YouTube, and then I want to pre-film all my short form content. We're also doing a challenge to spend $100 on groceries this week, which I'll be filming. It's linked above. I think realistically that's kind of enough. I want to finish reading Essentialism. It's my second time reading this book, and if you haven't read it, it's just great. Essentialism. Don't know if I've spelled that right. My coffee this morning was very weak. I feel like setting weekly goals, I'm just like not in the flow of this, but I know I'm just gonna want to upload 2 videos. I'm sure this is going to even like grow as I continue to do this, but hey, we'll just get there. I'm actually feeling really stuck. I don't really know what to write. I think my focus right now, which is in line with essentialism, is just to go big on one thing. So I'm just going to focus on having 2 videos this week. Weekly goals. I'm just going to say upload 2 videos. And then I want to do bake with Brookie recipe. I recently bought her book. It's amazing. Follow her on Instagram, she's great. I do most of our baking from home, so doing this is quite fun. In week 5, we don't have a 5-week month this week. So my personal goals under the monthly goals, I feel like I can populate them across. So for my personal goals, I want to catch up with 4 different friends. I've already caught up with 2 of them. Finish all the books I'm currently reading. So I've got Anne going, I've got Essentialism going. I'm not sure what else I've got going. I'll have to have a look and update it. I want to go through all my childhood memorabilia. This is terrifying. I've got a box behind me of like all my childhood stuff. Let's put that in this weekly goal here. And then sort through the 2020 photos. We're going through all of our photos at the moment. Let's just populate that into there. Let's do that next week. Monthly meal prep. This is kind of being skewed by the fact that our income has been a little bit lower and our expenses with our big bills have been higher. So I will be doing that for the month of August, September. I want to do that in advance. I also want to lose 2 kilos. I'm on a bit of a weight loss journey postpartum. I think that 2 kilos in a month is quite realistic. I've got a fitness plan that I'm following and eating well, so let's just do a weigh in and we'll see how we go. I have actually already done this. Our 2025 finances up to date. I'm going to tick that, which is very satisfying. And our $400 food monthly budget, let's see in a few weeks when I do that. Now, paying off $400. A couple of minutes ago I talked about only paying off $200. That $200 is coming from our income. I have a lot, like I'm talking a lot listed on Designer Wardrobe, and I've already made over $100 from one sale, so that will be going off into my student loan. If you have a loan or you're trying to pay something off or your wardrobe needs a clean out, I highly recommend Designer Wardrobe. I've got a link below for a referral for credit if you want to start and join. Moving on to career goals. This job essentially is my career. My full-time job is being a mum, so this is kind of like my part-time job. I really want to just hit 100 followers on both Instagram and YouTube, so if you're not following me on either platform, I would love to have you part of this community. Please subscribe. And that's also really going to help me to monetize this channel. You need 1,000 subscribers. I'm not quite there just yet, so I would love to have your support. And then I want to launch my website. It's basically ready to go. I just need to change the URL and sort that out. So yeah, that'll be really cool. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And then my other is our October gifts. This should say September and October. I'm trying to be a lot more onto it with birthday gifts and things like that for our extended family. We do have a few nieces and nephews. Also have a whole lot of cards that I want to send out to people's actual birthdays. I've been really slack with this year. I've actually missed a few family birthdays, which is terrible. So I'll be focusing on sorting that out. And we've got our monthly reflections. I obviously won't be filling these out till the end of the month, but I think it's just a good have a look. This is what we can look forward to at the end of the month. So we've got our achievements. What were my biggest achievements? What challenges did I face this month? Improvements, what can I improve next month? And summary, our key takeaways this month. I really love doing this. I used to do this a lot on like a daily basis when I was working in corporate. I'd have certain goals I wanted to do to improve in my, just who I was as a person, who I was in my role, how I could improve the systems that I had designed and worked on. So I'm really looking forward to at the end of the month coming back to this. And I just also love how, it's just like a digital footprint for all of this in one place. So again, if you are interested in this, I've got a link below with my discount code. Now let's move on to the social media reflections. Okay, this part is the part I'm quietly very excited to talk about, and that is my social media growth. So about a month ago, just over a month ago, I started these pages, Ariel the Finance Mum, to share personal finance and wealth building content from a Christian perspective. I'm really passionate about the fact that money management can be so much fun, it can be so fulfilling, it can be really exciting, and I'm not here to offer the typical finance bro advice that you see when it comes to personal finance. I've noticed that a lot of that content is really geared towards people who are single, people who have no responsibilities, or they do have responsibilities, but they're not providing for a family. They might not necessarily have a huge mortgage, but I think it's very different. You can't apply a lot of those principles that they recommend to a single or a very low income when you've got lots of people to provide for. So I really wanted to offer a different perspective, and as well as a Christian perspective, which obviously is very important to me. And so far I feel very blessed to have had a lot of positive feedback from Christian homeschooling mums who have said this is really great, thank you for sharing. And that just it makes me so happy, because I think that my ultimate goal with what I'm sharing is, if you're a mum and you're watching this and you're working, you've got a full-time job, you want to be at home with your kids, or you're homeschooling during the day and working a night shift and you're just overwhelmed by money, like my goal and my purpose is for you to be able to apply what I'm sharing, all these learnings with you, into your own personal money, and be able to step back from whatever work you're doing and live on less but live well. That's kind of like my long-term goal. If you're a stay-at-home mum or you're working and you want to be a stay-at-home mum, I really hope that what I'm sharing can allow you to step into that. So essentially I will be starting from zero, and going forward I will share a screenshot of the before and after at the beginning and end of the month. Okay, let's jump into the YouTube studio. So I've started with 0, and so here is what I'm looking at on my phone. We've got 56 subscribers, we've had 5.5k views, my watch time hours are up 380%, which is such a blessing. Thank you to everyone who has been watching. And then my subscriber count has gone up as well. So the videos that I have been posting, I've posted 3 main videos so far. One of them was how to budget on a low or single income. That so far is sitting at 387 views. My next big video that I've posted was the 7 real changes I made to survive on a single income. That's gone 612 views. And then my 6-month review, we spent $8,508 on grocery video. That's done 27 views in the past 48 hours. And its total views is 131. For having 3 videos up, I'm really proud of that effort. I found a few different channels where I am promoting these videos, so if you found me through one of those, I really want to say thank you for being here. Now let's jump over to Instagram. Here is a screenshot of what my Instagram page is looking like so far. I've made 31 posts, I've got 78 followers and 133 that I'm following. 13.4 thousand views in the last 30 days. So I want to say thank you if you've watched that, if you're following. If you're not, I've linked it below. My goal, as I mentioned earlier, is I really want to hit 100 on both platforms. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this video for more money content. And I just want to share a few like highs and lows. So one of the highs I have had, which was my what I spent in a week video, and I've already had a few comments on these, so I wanted to just, yeah, I think a high was that they've performed really well, and a low was that I feel like I haven't communicated in them as clearly as I could have. On the weeks where we're spending like an additional $1,000 to what we've got coming in, that's because we're pulling them from sinking funds or we've got money set aside for big expenses. But if you're just watching that, it's very easy to make the assumption that we've actually just earned that money. That's not necessarily the case. So in my next ones coming up, I want to clarify that, and I think this has been such a key learning early on. The other thing that I've been doing, and if you're also a social media content creator, I'm sure that we're all guilty of this, is just like doom scrolling, inspo scrolling. Is it actually that helpful? Like, I think that we all know when we're doing it that we should just be creating. And then yeah, looking at the YouTube studio views, because that is for me such a waste of time. Like if I put all that time I looked at like how many views have I done or how many subscribers have I done, I think I would have just been so much more productive with making actual content. And the other thing that I want to do, yeah, so that's kind of like a bit of a low. The other thing I want to do for this month is just delete social media off my phone on a Friday afternoon. I have content that I schedule on the Saturday. I work and film on a Saturday or sometimes a Sunday afternoon, but I don't need to be accessing that. That's my time with my family. I don't want to be tapping into that. And I've had this advice recommended to me by Tess Barclay from Busy Blooming. If you watch Tess Barclay, we were part of the Busy Blooming co-working office space. Hello, I'm so excited to connect with you over that. But yeah, her recommendation of deleting your social media and the benefits that it has, I'm so looking forward to really leaning into that. Another big learning is I script a lot of my videos. This one is completely unscripted if you can't tell, but when I'm talking and it's scripted, I'm really struggling with like my intonation, my hand gestures, but I don't feel like I have the confidence yet to just work off the bullet points. So I think that's more just a point of improvement of like, how can I create this natural flow well without compromising what I'm saying, but also being an engaging speaker. I had this lovely comment on a Facebook post who said I'm such a natural speaker, and I think it was the confidence boost I needed. I can look at my old videos and say, oh okay, that was horrific. And I did refilm a video because I was sick and I was just kind of like sitting there like this. I looked like I was so unhappy to be there, and I just refilmed it. And I think it's all about being 1% better. And something else that I really want to improve on, and I'm not sure how to do this, so if you have suggestions and you're in the content creation space or you consume content on the internet, I would love to hear your thoughts on how to pose questions that promote thinking and questions. I did have my first example of this. I shared about spending, I think it was $20 a week on power. We're with Power Shop, so we don't have a monthly bill, we just buy regularly. And then in addition to this, I posted a video, 7 hard truths, and about money, if I wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings. And one of the hard truths was along the lines, if you're spending over $500 a month on power, you're spending too much. Anyway, this mum, she has a little baby, 3 months old, she messaged me and said, we're spending like $400 on power, how do you get your power bill so low? And anyway, it was just such a great conversation. I sent her one of my previous videos I'd made about keeping power down low, talked about how to make sure you're getting the best power, because the power that we're getting at our house might not be the same for you depending on your location. And it just made me so happy to like open this message and at least I hope I helped her. But yeah, just to like open that conversation of like, okay, you're spending $450. I think that is far too high. That is more than double of what we have just paid. Okay, here are our last 3 months of power. So our power cycle is from the 10th to the 9th. So in May to June the 9th, we spent 167 on power. From June to July, we spent 198 on power. And then from the 10th of June to the 9th of August, so that's today, we have used $212.54. Now I'm at home, we do a lot of washing because we use cloth and nappy, so we're doing more washes than the average, but our power bill looks like that. So it was just really nice to be able to message this mum and be like, hey, like these are some things to consider, this is what we do, this is what works for us, here are some suggestions that might work for you. And it just felt like after a month of posting to have someone be like, yeah, just start the conversation, and it was all organic. Yeah, it just felt like, it just made me feel warm inside. So I hope that what I've said back to her actually helps. I think we'll find out when she gets back to me later, but yeah. And then I have some very exciting news because this is the month of August technically today. I will be sharing some very exciting news in my next monthly review about a business update. Now that concludes my monthly reset. Thank you so much for coming along and watching with me. If you enjoyed this video, here are some other suggestions that you might like to watch, and if you haven't already, subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day wherever you are.